we're back. So hopefully this is fixed. We're talking about GLP-1 and chlorogenic acids and the tea that I drink. And I apologize to everyone on Facebook, YouTube. Hopefully we're going to get this back going now. And I will probably recap the top of it since it didn't get caught over on these channels later. But right now I want to get into the GLP-1 portion of this talk. So this tea has such high levels of chlorogenic acids that it helps increase GLP-1 levels. The same things that are in those drugs, but in a more natural form that's healthier for your body. And I'm going to explain all of that in a second. So those GLP-1s can enhance the secretion of glucagon-like peptide 1. That's what a GLP-1 is, right? So they're enhancing the production of that in your own body. And yes, you produce it. It's not just in a drug. And the problem is that most of us are just not producing enough of it because of all of the other dysfunction that's going along with insulin resistance. Now, the chlorogenic acids in this and the chlorogenic acids in other stuff will help it as well. But they're beneficial for this insulin regulation and appetite control. So how does that happen? We're going to go over it. Now, I'm going to drop this down later because I think that I want to just get into this. So this tea gives us a much better form of the chlorogenic acids than things like green coffee beans, and some of the other forms that we have out there. Because it's concentrated, because it goes through this 5-step process. But let's talk a little bit more about GLP-1s. So I've got to get to my notes. There we are. Okay, so GLP-1, that hormone that's produced and it's produced in the intestines. So if your intestines are under attack and your microbiome there is under attack, that's part of the problem why you're not getting GLP-1 in your own body. So we want to take care of the gut. That's the fiber piece of this system. And we want to make sure that we're getting enough GLP-1 produced to help with that glucose metabolism, help with your heart, help with the weight management, help with insulin signaling. Now, there's something in this I want to talk about this morning that just kind of blew my mind because it was a question I had. And when I did the research, I got the answer. So it helps you with blood sugar regulation, GLP-1. Now we've switched chlorogenic acids, elicit GLP-1s. Now we're talking about GLP-1. So these GLP-1s help with glucose regulation or blood sugar regulation. So what GLP-1 really does is it stimulates your pancreas to produce more insulin to help with the load of glucose in your system. That always concerned me, right? Like if we have too much insulin already, why are they thinking that adding more insulin will help? Well, the magic with chlorogenic acids is that it also protects the pancreatic B cells where insulin is produced. So it makes them more receptive. So you're actually, instead of damaging the pancreas, which is what a lot of those chemically produced GLP-1s can do, it's actually supporting your pancreas while it's requiring your pancreas to produce enough insulin to deal with the glucose load. At the same time, remember, it's also slowing down how much glucose gets into your system. All of that's why it works so well, right? But GLP-1s also affect your appetite control, both in your brain and in your gut. So in your brain, it's giving your brain energy and it's shutting down those hunger cues, saying, hey, it's okay. You don't need to eat right now. And in your gut, it's causing a little bit of distension, saying, hey, you have food. We don't need to eat. So now your body perceives that it has the energy it needs, that it's not empty. And then your hunger goes away just from drinking the tea. And that's part of how those medications work too, but we're going to talk about the damage that the medications can do that this tea is not doing. So it also slows gastric emptying. What that means is as food passes through your system and it's going through the intestines where all the waste part is getting pushed through, the drugs and GLP-1 in general slow down that gastric emptying. Now, with the drugs, part of what's happening when it slows down that intestinal activity, it's actually freezing the intestines to the point that they no longer work. And then people have ended up in the hospital with big blockages of rotting food sitting in their gut, and it's life-threatening. It's called gastroparesis. And Nobody wants that. In fact, I watched a study of a woman, or a documentary by a woman who was taking the drugs. She was losing weight, doing really great, and then she ended up in the hospital with gastroparesis. She went back home and was like, "Never again am I gonna take those drugs," because that wasn't the only issue she had. But she's like, "I'm not taking those drugs again. They're just so damaging to the body." And then she started gaining weight. Pause. She started gaining weight back because nobody told her where the weight came from in the first place. They just said, "Here's a drug. It's going to fix you. It'll take care of it. Do the drug. You'll be fine." But as soon as she came back off the drug, maybe not right away, but within a couple of years, she started gaining weight back. And she didn't like the way her body looked when she started gaining the weight back. So she sneakily, she admits this, went back on the drug and almost ended up in the hospital again. And she was like, "What am I doing to my health in order to be thin?" This is one of the struggles many, many people on those drugs face, and it's damaging your intestinal tract to the point that part of the reason you're not hungry is you just have this rotting mass of food in your gut. And then people with Ozempic and whatnot will report these nasty, farty burps. That's because there's rotting food sitting in their gut, not passing through. Nobody wants that to lose weight. I don't. Like, right? So yeah, slowing down the emptying of that so that you feel fuller longer is great, but the drugs do it at such a high level that it's causing problems. Now, GLP-1s, remember we've switched from chlorogenic acids to GLP-1s. They do have a metabolic health support. So by regulating the blood sugar and your appetite, those GLP-1s can contribute to overall metabolic health and can aid in weight management. We all know that. We've seen it. But here's the problem. The side effects of those drugs, and when I'm giving you a problem, I'm going to give you a solution. So hang out, because GLP-1 is not the bad guy. It's just the form that we're being delivered to is the bad guy. Okay. So in those drugs, those synthetic, long lasting, high dose, like 300 to 400 times what we're supposed to get in drugs, these are some of the common side effects. So they can have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation. They can have injection site reactions, or their cells around the sites where they inject start getting a little bit inflamed and angry. They can have headaches. They can have nasopharyngitis. Um, there are some other side effects. So pancreatitis, because they're overworking the pancreas, but they're not getting B cell the B cell protection, remember in the pancreas that chlorogenic acids are giving, the GLP-1 drugs are actually overworking the pancreas, and that's causing the pancreatitis. So it's making the pancreas do way too much and not protecting it at the same time, which the T does protect it while it's asking it to produce more insulin. So a lot of people have reported acute gallbladder disease or gallstone attacks on those drugs. The gastroparesis that I talked about, bowel obstruction, where the gastroparesis now actually becomes a bowel obstruction, that's a huge problem, and it is life-threatening, and you do have to go to the hospital to have that taken care of. The drugs are causing this, and it's well known that they're causing this with many, many people. So again, I have to question, and I hope that you guys on this talk are knowing that that's not the route you want to go down. You want to do something much healthier, and that's why you're here. So it can also cause hypoglycemia, especially when you're taking it with other diabetes medications. So hypoglycemia means your blood sugars are too low, and that's a danger too, especially when you're faced with nausea, wanting to faint, or feeling tired after your blood sugar levels drop. Now, according to scientist Dr. Ben Bickman, and I believe I read it through some other doctors, that if your blood sugar goes down to about 60 and you don't have those, you're not like, "Oh, I'm going to pass out. I feel so tired. My body's just cold." You're okay. And as your body gets regulated, it will start to bring those blood sugars levels up normally, especially when you have fat on your body. Don't worry about that. But if you have those symptoms, please be very aware that um, it's a very dangerous time when you get below 60 or you get to that place. Um, hey, AJ, it's so good to see you. I watch your channel all the time, bud. Good to see you in here. Okay, so we talked about that, but it can also injure your kidneys. We're talking about the drug GLP-1, right? They can attack your kidneys. They can give you thyroid issues, and I've heard many people contact me about those things that they've faced with those drugs as well. But then there's some other side effects like Ozempic face or Ozempic butt. And that's because with these drugs, oftentimes, and science has proven with some of these drugs, up to 40% of your weight loss actually comes from muscle, from lean tissue. So you lose 100 pounds, great. Only 60 of it may have been fat. The other 40 of it may have been lean tissue that you need. And by the way, that lean tissue is what's helping you stay insulin sensitive and metabolically healthy in the first place. But you just destroyed it with those drugs. And so they have skin that's hanging off of their face. They have their butt looks like there's nothing there anymore because, yeah, it ate up all that lean tissue. And that's no way to lose weight, right? Does anybody want to lose weight only to have a saggy butt and skin falling off their face? Because I don't. All right. But they can also increase your heart rate and they have a potential risk for depression and suicidal thoughts with those drugs. Plus, they can cause some dehydration. Now, that's just some of the symptoms, but that's enough. Have you guys heard enough? Ready for something that's much better? So, I might have to run get my cord because my phone's dying. What a morning it's been. All right, so we're just going to get into the tea right now. We'll make it through this before my phone shuts off because I don't have my cord here. So the tea that I drink is called Unamate. It's a very highly concentrated form of yerba mate tea, really high in those chlorogenic acids. It has 375 times more chlorogenic acids than a standard yerba mate tea. Dr. Huberman has talked about yerba mate tea and these benefits of GLP-1 and mental health, neuroprotective health many times. In fact, there's a video in my the tea tab on TikTok where he's talking about these effects. Now, when he's talking about them, he's talking about a standard yerba mate tea. This tea, again, has gone through a 5-step process to make it as pure as possible and as concentrated as possible while still being the natural tea that you're wanting all the benefits from. And it's high in vitamins, minerals, and other things like theobromine and mate saponins, which I won't have time to get into today. But that concentration of this chlorogenic acid that elicits that GLP-1 naturally in your body is what's really doing the job. So now you get better insulin signaling. You're protecting your pancreas while you're doing it. So you're getting more energy and better heart health. So user, you just go to my tab and right under my picture, there are some red lights. Click on the link below there. I have a whole website. You can go read all about it. The nutritional labels and stuff are there. Now, if you're ready to order the tea, because it does do so much better and does not have all of these negative side effects that I just went through, then do that. But please use a link like mine where you're getting it through somebody who's actually reputable with the company so that you get the 90-day money back guarantee. You get the low price guarantee. You'll never pay more than I pay. And you'll get the quality guarantee. If you go to Amazon, eBay, Walmart, because I know I've done it too, you guys, we go research stuff and I'm just going to go, I'm going to Amazon and get it cheaper. No, you won't. And you won't get any of the guarantees with it when you do that. You're going to get support and help from me when you use my link, and you're going to get linked directly to the company so that if you have any issues at all, you have someone to fall back on. When you go to Amazon, eBay, Walmart, there's nobody there that's authorized to be selling the product there. And so you're taking a huge risk. And everybody that's bought there has paid at least $100 more than they needed to. At least the ones who've contacted me have, and that's sad. You don't need to spend more money to be healthy. You just need to be healthy, right? Most of us want to spend as little as possible to get the best results. I'm there with you guys. So just use the link. Okay. So the tea amplifies all of those 13 benefits that I talked about at the beginning. Because it's so highly concentrated. And the 5-step process, we hand pick it. We don't machine harvest it. So we're getting the right leaves at the right time. We fire roast it to help release these chemical components from the stem and the bulk of the leaf and stuff. We extract it, we concentrate it, and then we purify it. Nobody else does this process to give you this high potency of tea. the entire system, and I just talked about the tea today, but there is a second component, and that is the pre-meal drink. Um, and I'll mix that up here in a second. But those three things that you're going to get, so you're doing 2 teas in a day and you're doing 1 of these in a day. And this whole thing costs about $5 a day. That's less than 1 Starbucks, but now you're getting all of those amazing benefits I talked about with the chlorogenic acids and the natural production of GLP-1, and you're getting gut microbiome health with the pre-meal drink. And so now you're regulating your blood glucose, you're losing weight, you're having better mental clarity, your health is better overall. You guys, 3 years ago, it's been 3.5 years. I need to update my timeline, right? It's been 3.5 years since I started the program. And or the protocol, I could not walk up and down stairs 3.5 years ago. My joints were failing. I was in pain. I had no energy. Now I regularly walk up and down the stairs and walk up and down the stairs carrying loads of groceries and whatnot. That wasn't possible for me 3.5 years ago. And all I changed was this. Okay. So the chlorogenic acids in that, the Unamate tea in my profile, it also has theobromine that's at a higher level, and that helps with not having crash from the energy that you get. So you get energy, you get all those benefits, but you don't get a crash. Like, how many of you guys, I used to drink not Red Bull, but I used to drink Bang Energy when I was powerlifting, before I understood how damaged my heart was getting. I drank Bang Energy and it was great. Like, I would have tons of energy, but man, afterwards I was down for the count. I never feel that with this. And I'm going to give you a hint here. So this tea is actually a 40-ounce mug. Each one of these makes about 20 ounces. You get a little bottle like this, and you mix the tea up in it. I'll show you how to mix up the fiber in a second. Both of them just mix in water. There's no steeping, none of that. When I go to the airport, when I'm traveling, like this weekend I traveled, I just had some of this in the car with me, and I just put this in water, and I'm good to go. But 2 of these in a day, right? So what I did this morning, and I've been doing this regularly, because now I know when I drink this down, I've drank my tea for the day. So I actually make both of mine at once, and I just sip on this all day long. So I have quite a bit in the morning. Sometimes I just drink it hot in the morning, and it's great hot. But like right now, I put both of them in here just to make sure that I'm getting all of those benefits I talked about, because my body at 60, almost 61, needs it. My body needs every one of those benefits. So I put 2 in a 40-ounce mug. That's how I do it, because then I just don't have to think about it again. I just carry my mug around and drink. Now, so with it, again, you're getting that balanced energy boost. You're getting cognitive support. You're getting mood enhancement. You're getting this convenience that it's just mixed in water. You're not having to carry tea bags around, steep them, worry about where to put all of that. You're just going to do just like I'm doing with the pre-meal drink right now. You tear off the top, it rips off easily, and they've made it this size in this form so that it fits nicely into the top of a water bottle. So I'm just going to pour it. You always pour it into the water, not the water into it with either of them. And then with the fiber, I'm only going to shake it a couple of times. Okay. Now that's done. That's mixed. So now I'm going to drink this down, and this is going to deliver 7 different soluble and insoluble fibers, which is going to help more with my glucose regulation, with my gut microbiome, all the stuff I didn't talk about this morning. We'll talk about it tomorrow. It has a light orange flavor. It's actually really good. We do have a second flavor that is mixed berry. That one is equally as good. So either way, you get your choice when you order. You're going to get 2 boxes of the tea. So 30 of, if you want 30 of the lemon tea, 30 of the lemon ginger tea. You can do it that way. You can do all 61 or the other, and then you get 30 of the pre-meal drink. Now, they work synergistically to address all of this. I focused on chlorogenic acids this morning, and that's what's really highly present in this. But do not think that this doesn't have any benefit. This has a ton, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So that's the whole system, and that's all I had to do to lose 55 pounds, to get my blood pressure under control, to get the swelling down in my hands and feet. In fact, I want to talk about this. I went to Kings Island up between Cincinnati and Columbus this weekend while I was over visiting family. They took me to this amazing theme park called Kings Island, kind of like a mini Disneyland. It was so cute and so amazing. We were there for 7 hours. So almost the entire 7 hours was standing in line. So I'm on my feet, walking around a park. 3 years ago, if you would have told me that we were gonna go do that, I would have almost cried because I was in so much pain. I'd be like, "I will not survive that." Yes, I was tired at the end of the day running a little 8-year-old around all these rides and stuff that he wanted to go through. But at the end of that long, long day, an hour up, an hour back, 7 hours at the park and shopping and getting groceries and stuff with my grandson when we came home, I pulled my shoes and socks off, and this may make sense to some of you. It was certainly telling to me because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, if my feet are gonna swell, today's gonna be the day. Today's gonna be the day that the swelling is gonna show up in my feet." But I got home, I pulled my shoes and socks off, and there was no swelling in my feet. Now, 3.5 years ago, even 1 hour at that park, my feet would have been hurting so bad and swollen so much that my socks would have left indentations in my legs, and I would have been crying, wanting to sit down or wanting a wheelchair to walk through the park because my feet hurt so bad. This simple protocol made that much change in my health that now I'm and even driving for 10 hours between here and there. That simple task of driving, sitting in the car, would have had my legs and feet swollen beyond recognition by the time I got home. None of it. Pulled my socks off when I got home. I can see all the veins in my feet. My toes don't look like little sausages. If you're suffering with edema and neuropathy, that's huge to have that kind of freedom. So I don't know, is anybody in here currently have edema or neuropathy or know someone who does? You guys, this links into gout too in a little different way, but it does link into gout. The freedom that I feel in being able to just walk through the park, get on the rides, do all the stuff that I did with my grandson that I couldn't have done 3.5 years ago was worth the cost of $5 a day. It absolutely was. So Ollie, so just here, I'll type the link in for you guys over here. And I would love to have you in my tribe and help you out because that's my whole goal is to just help people feel better. Um, so use that link, Ollie, and that will get you to my page where, and by the way, on my link, whether you're here on TikTok or whether you're over on Facebook and YouTube, one of the things in that link is my WhatsApp. So whether you're here in the US or whether you're overseas, you can get a hold of me and have a conversation. And that's important to most of us. So yeah, and that answers the other question. It is available worldwide. We're in over 60 countries worldwide. And it acts on your IP address. So if you're in Ireland logging on and you're like, I want this, and I have customers in Ireland, then it's going to take you to the site that's appropriate for Ireland. If you're in the UK, if you're in the UAE, if you're in the Philippines, if you're in Australia, New Zealand, wherever in the world you are, it's going to read your IP address and take you to the right site, but you're still going to get linked to me so I can help you and make sure that you get the best out of the system. And you're so welcome, Ollie. Please, please, once you're done ordering, just shoot me a text and let's get you started right. And then especially when you get your product, I love for people to text me and say, "Hey, I got it." When you have it in front of you and you've got all this product sitting there, then I will answer the questions that you have about when, how, why, all of that. It's not really that complicated, but it can seem overwhelming when you're making a change. So let's get you supported. Is there a link in my bio? Yes. Yes, there is a link in my bio. Everything I've described hits for you. Yeah, and it does for so many more people. Most of us are suffering like this, and we just don't talk about it because we have been taught and gaslit so much that we think that we're having these because we're bad people. A lot of us. I mean, I know I had doctors make me feel that way. I had family members make me feel that way. In reality, it's just that our food is deficient and we're not taught how to eat and we don't understand what is missing so that we can support our bodies. So I totally believe it. I'm right there with you and I would love to support and help you. But yeah, in the bio, When you go to my bio on TikTok, there's some red lights. I put them there so you can see the link really easily. Just click on that link and it will take you right to my landing page with all of the information, my website, everything. When you go to my website and you click on the link to order there, it's going to take you directly to the company. So you're ordering and you're getting all of the guarantees, everything directly from them. I never handle anything. I don't have to stock or store anything. It all comes directly from the company. It should be to you in 3 to 5 days. The latest, depending on where you're at, could be 10 days, but most people have it in 3 to 5 days. And that's amazing. Okay. All right. Any other questions, you guys? My phone is like getting on its last leg, but I want to make sure. Tuner, I have not seen you for a while either. What is this? It's like old home days. Everybody's hopping in today. I love your channel too. So, you guys, some of these people who I'm mentioning, go follow them. They have great channels, not about insulin resistance, but like AJ's Rant Room, love you. Tuner Latino, love you too. Like, go support them. Okay, you guys, if you don't have any other questions, then I think all of the glitches, I hope all the glitches are fixed, and I will be back tomorrow. We'll talk about the pre-meal drink a little bit more. That's the second component of this and why it's benefiting, and hopefully answer more questions for you guys. And then always, always, always use my link either place. If you have questions and you just don't want to put it here in the chat, that's fine. Just ask me, and I'm more than happy to help you how I can. Before I close, I am not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm a real world woman like every one of you who got really sick. Like you said, you heard everything on that list. And when doctors and everyone were not helping me, I stumbled on this. And to be honest, it was like, I have a hair tickling my nose. It was like a last ditch effort for me. 3.5 years ago, it's hard to believe my mindset, but I was preparing to die. My health was so bad that I was convinced, especially with my blood pressure being out of control, my heart failing, my gallbladder failing, my joints failing. I was in pain. I didn't want to get up and do anything. I didn't want to leave the house between my joints and all of that, and then my gut being out of control. I literally thought that I would be gone by the time I was 65. And I have grandkids that I want to have a good time with. I have grandkids that I want to have influence with in their life. I have kids that still, kind of need their mom around. And that was terrifying to live like that. I don't live like that anymore. My son even mentioned this weekend, he was like, man, mom, he's like 3.5 years ago. I don't know if I would have been able to invite you to go with us on that wonderful day because your health was so bad. And now it's good enough that he actually got me a season pass to Kings Island so I can take that little boy whenever I want to, and that's a blessing. But what a change. And so if you're feeling like you're just confined by your health issues and that your outlook isn't great and that you just don't know what to do, I get it. I was there. I took a chance on this. It actually changed my life. Why did I take a chance on it when nothing else worked? To be honest, because of the guarantee. Because I was like, well, I've tried everything else. I'm going to try this too. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to get my money back and I'm going to go on about my business. And then I can at least say that I tried, right? So 3.5 years ago, I had hope, but I didn't have belief that this would change my life. And now here I am talking to you guys about it because I want you guys to know there's hope and you don't have to be being shot full of medications to do it. Always work with your physician, but we have a number of physicians, oncologists, cardiologists, endocrinologists, who are all recommending the system to their patients now. And we have some pharmacists who are handing out drugs every day, and they're saying that this system is the most impactful thing that they've seen come across their desk in all their years in pharmacy. So just use the link. Ask me questions if you want. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to talk about the other components. And then if you have questions about all this stuff up here, let me know. I'd love to cover any of those things and help you understand how this is actually helping address your health to give you back freedom in your life. And I never really do this, but I'm going to today. So I am building a team of people like me who help. Now, most of the people on my team have none of the scientific knowledge. They just know that it helped. And so they've changed their financial life as well. If you're curious about that, reach out to me about that too, because I would love to help you change your life like I did mine all the way around. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Thanks for hanging out. You guys, thanks for putting up with me. Now, what I would love to do over here on YouTube, TikTok, or YouTube, Facebook, is I kind of, if you guys are okay with it, I'm going to go back to the beginning because the stream was breaking up so bad in the beginning that we didn't cover all the stuff, or you couldn't hear all the stuff I was talking about with chlorogenic acids, which is the piece of this protocol. That's the tea that I drink every morning. This tea that I drink. So we're going to talk about chlorogenic acids just to make sure you guys get the message because my system was screwing up. So chlorogenic acids are powerful compounds that are found in various plants, including coffee beans and yerba mate, and in certain other teas. These acids have been studied extensively for their numerous health benefits, and when they combine in a convenient form like this, it just makes it really easy for you to get your life back. So it's simple, it's easy to use, it's portable. Love that. We're going to talk about the chlorogenic acids that are present in this, 375 times higher than in any standard yerba mate tea and 30 times higher than those coffee beans. We're going to talk about it. So the top 13 benefits of chlorogenic acids. Why don't I just kind of name them all, and then we'll go back over them a little bit in more detail to help you understand. So they help support healthy blood pressure. They improve glucose metabolism. They help with weight management efforts. They enhance brain function. They enhance mood and well-being. They have antioxidant properties, anti-inflammatory properties. They have cardiovascular protection, neuroprotective effects, antimicrobial activity. You guys, that one is actually kind of new to me. I have never focused on that. Cancer prevention potential, skin health improvement, and they increase GLP-1 levels. That's a lot from one little component in one amazing tea. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. It supports healthy blood pressure. Now, if you missed it, my blood pressure used to be 180 over 150 every day, and the best we could get it to in a doctor's office was 150 over 110. I had been cycled off and on different medications. I was on dual therapy to try and get my blood pressure under control. My personal physician was also a personal friend, and I worked in her office for years. And she was terrified of what was going to happen to me if we didn't get my blood pressure under control. Um, and she was one of the ones like cycling through medications, trying to get this under control for me. And so when I started this system, 6 days after I started, I went into the doctor's office. I was reading the chat, sorry. I went into the doctor's office, and the MA took my blood pressure, and it was 126 over 84. And that might not sound great to anyone else, but to me, who had high blood pressure since my mid-30s, that was shocking. It was relieving. It was exciting because I had started this on Sunday. I went to that doctor's appointment on Thursday. She came into the room. I was all giddy and excited, and she's like, "What's going on?" And so I said, "Did you look at my chart? Did you look at my vitals?" Because they don't. Oftentimes they don't. They're charted, but they don't. So she said, "No, I didn't." And she looked at him and she was like, "Wait a minute." She made the MA come back in because she thought he had made a mistake. Remember, the best my blood pressure was before was 150 over 110. I had been in just about a week and a half before, and that's where it was. And now it's saying 126 over 84. So she made him run my blood pressure again, got the same reading, and she looked at me and said, "What did you do?" This is what I did. This is all I did to get my blood pressure down. Now, did it stay down like that originally? No. It bounced around for the first year, I would say, and then it started to come down normally. So the last couple of uh, annuals that I had, my A1C was at 5.3. My lipids were all in control. My blood pressure was right around 113 over 170 the last time we had it in. And that's tremendous. So a new doctor taking me on today, looking at my labs, would never know I was sick. So yes, I attribute this protocol to healing my blood pressure and making me healthier in that way. So that's huge. But now improving glucose metabolism. So the chlorogenic acids in this reduce the intestinal glucose absorption and the output of glucose from the liver, meaning it's keeping your blood sugars down. When your blood sugar's down, you need less insulin to control that. So, part of the problem with insulin resistance, which is what this all is addressing, is that we have too much insulin. We're going to come to something in a minute that's going to make you say, I thought we were trying to reduce insulin, but there's a good piece of that. But it also helps with weight management by influencing that glucose. So, you're getting less glucose burning. And when you're burning glucose and your body can't utilize enough glucose, it's going to store the rest of it as fat. So we want to pull fat off. We get energy from fat too, but the chlorogenic acids in this slow down the glucose going into the system and they encourage you to burn fat for fuel. Now you're becoming more metabolically healthy. Okay. So that helps you with weight because obviously you're able to burn fat. And how many of you guys, I know there's a couple on here, but how many of you guys have ever felt like it's impossible to lose weight? No matter what you do, it's because your metabolism is all jacked up and you need to understand how to burn sugar for fuel. So that helps with your weight. It enhances your brain function. By getting in energy to your brain, and allowing those neurons in your brain to communicate properly, your brain function starts to look better. My brain function was failing. My kids were afraid that I was coming down with Alzheimer's. My business partner at the time was worried about me. I just couldn't form thoughts. I was slow in speech. I couldn't remember names. All of that changed within 3 days of drinking this tea. It all started to come back. Okay, so it also boosts mood and well being. This is just the chlorogenic acid piece that we're talking about. And those compounds, the chlorogenic acids, can positively affect your mood by supporting neurotransmitter balance and reducing stress related symptoms. So, if you feel like you're under stress all the time and you have high levels of cortisol, I know one of the things that people say to me is like, you're giving me something that gives me more energy, and yet part of my problem is high cortisol. Well, the components in this, like chlorogenic acids, help with that. So then we talked about antioxidant properties. This tea has antioxidants, and so does chlorogenic acids that reduce oxidative stress in your cells, protecting your cells from more damage, free radicals, all of that. Okay. So your cells are going through some oxidation all the time, but when there's too much of that going on, it's oxidative stress and the cell starts to get sick. So this is protecting from that oxidative stress and allowing the cells to act more normally so you're not getting sick. But it also has anti-inflammatory effects, and the chlorogenic acids are helping with inflammation with these anti-inflammatory effects, and that's helping with a number of diseases across the board because so many, especially autoimmune diseases like Hashimoto's, are linked to inflammation. And so the anti-inflammatories in this are also very beneficial for your overall health and chronic disease. Story time. So I don't know how many of you guys know, but I've been doing some furniture. We're not going to call it furniture flipping, furniture restoration, furniture artistry. And a woman came by to get one of my pieces right after I got back. And she was talking about how she had polyarthritis. So both osteo and rheumatoid arthritis. And she was like, but I never had rheumatoid arthritis before surgery. Well, inflammation causes that rheumatoid arthritis. So, yeah, even the act of having a surgery that causes inflammation or a big fall or something that causes inflammation in the body can kick off that. The anti inflammatory effects of this tea help that. So, I had arthritis so bad that I lost 2 hips and 1 knee. My other knee was supposed to be replaced 3 years ago. no longer needs to be replaced and functions just fine because we got the inflammation out of my body. Now my joints are healing. Okay, so then there's cardiovascular protection. So not just with your blood pressure, but your overall heart health. It's helping the endothelial cells, which are the innermost lining of your blood vessels, to act normally and function normally. And by doing that, it's helping reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease and can lower cholesterol levels, preventing atherosclerosis. Again, chlorogenic acids highly present in the tea. But they also have neuroprotective effects, the chlorogenic acids. And by protecting the neurons that deal with dopamine, we'll call it that because I have a hard time saying the big word, and they enhance brain cell survival. So this tea, although it's adding energy for someone like me who has ADD, ADHD, this is really important because I have a dopamine dysregulation issue in my brain. This actually helps that. But not only that, when we're not getting that dopamine signaling right in our brain cells start to die off. This has protective benefits that are helping your brain cells live a more normal life. So you're not having those things like Alzheimer's, possibly even Parkinson's, and a number of other dementia type related diseases to crop up. Um, this one was kind of new for me when I did this research, and this is really exciting to me, but it explains a lot. There's antimicrobial activity in this. So I always talk about antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer. Antimicrobial activity from the chlorogenic acids in this tea means that they inhibit the growth of harmful bacteria, offering you better protection against infections. And so the story I told earlier was this, that I was in a household with 5 people. I'm one of them. We lived in close quarters because it was actually my daughter and my grandkids. And all 4 of them got COVID and got really sick. I didn't seem to be affected. We went and got me tested along with everyone else, and I did not get the COVID bug, and I was fine. I had been on the system for a little over a year at that point in time. This kind of explains how that happened, right? So I'm getting my gut microbiome healthier, which is going to help against infections. But those antimicrobials in this tea are probably part of what helped me survive that when everyone else was sick. Okay, cancer. Cancer. So preliminary studies with chlorogenic acids show that they may have anti-cancer properties by inhibiting tumor growth and proliferation. So the one tumor growing and more tumor cells growing. So this helps with keeping that at bay. And then we start to add in reduction of sugar and some of the other harmful things. Now you're having a better outlook for you ever not getting cancer. Okay. I'm not going to tell you this is going to cure cancer. That would be false. And I'm not going to ever say that. But is there the potential that you're protecting yourself a bit more than you are now? Absolutely, there is. So then we talked about skin health improvement, and that um, the chlorogenic acids in this just help you with better skin from wrinkling, from acne, from oxidative damage in your skin cells. And now your skin is more healthy looking and more glowing and less dull, less wrinkles, less acne breakouts. I used to have acne breakouts all around my face. Don't get them anymore. So that's amazing too. And then the last one of these that I talked about was the GLP-1 levels. And so at the very top of this, we talked a lot about GLP-1s. This particular tea increases GLP-1 naturally in your body by up to 70%. Those drugs that do it are giving you 300 to 400 times the GLP-1 that you should be getting, and it's in a form that doesn't break down, which can be damaging, which is why we get all of these side effects of gastroparesis and blockages and headaches and all of these other, some of them very complicated um, side effects of GLP-1 drugs. The tea does it in a natural form that your body has control over. And so you're getting all the benefits of GLP-1s, like reduced appetite and satiety and mental clarity and whatnot, without all the negative side effects. So that's the tea. You guys, if you're really interested in this and you're like, Okay, I've listened to her for a while. I want to know, or you just want to go read more, use the link that I dropped in the chat. I'll put it in again. Go to my webpage and take a look. All of the information is there on why it works and how it works. There are some success stories in there as well. And the link to the PDR, by the way, it is science backed. It's in the PDR. That's important to some people. So this isn't a fly by night weird thing that's going to here today, gone tomorrow. We've been around for years, and we have backing of a third party source like the Prescriber's Digital Reference that gives some documentation and efficacy to what this is. So go read all of that, or just order and then get a hold of me and let me know that you're ready to get started, and let's get you feeling better. Um, and other than that, we will talk to you tomorrow, because the second component of this has 4 different patented blends in it, and we'll talk about those and why they're addressing insulin resistance and a number of these issues too. So when you put the two together for about the cost of a Starbucks, or actually less than the cost of a Starbucks, now you're building health, and they taste great. I actually took this, I take it with me everywhere. One of my son's buddies was over at the house, wanted to meet me. We play games together, and I said, just try this. Tell me what you think. And I'm not trying to sell you. Just drink it. And he took a drink of the tea and he goes, "This is the stuff that you drink every day to manage your health." I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "That actually tastes really good." So there you go. It tastes good. It does really good things for your health. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. If you have questions, let me know, and I will do my best to answer them. If I don't know the answer, I will go get the answer and bring it back to you. So we'll see you guys in the morning.